Hey there guys, gals, and non-binary pals, GM Potter here. Welcome to my channel where I talk about books and bookish things. Today I have a romance novel for you that is 384 pages in paperback, came out in 2023, and that is Falling Hard for the Royal Guard by Megan Clausen. Let's get into it. So the blurb that goes with this on Goodreads is, despite living in an actual castle, happily ever after is evading Margaret Maggie Moore. From her bedroom in the Tower of London, the 26-year-old has always dreamed of her own fairy tale ending. Yet this is the 21st century London, so instead of knights on white horses, she has catfish on Tinder. And with her last relationship ending in spectacular fashion, she swears off men for good. Then a chance encounter with the Royal Guard Freddie forces Maggie to admit she isn't ready to give up on love just yet. But how do you catch the attention of someone who's trained to ignore all distractions? Can she share true love's first kiss, or is she royally screwed? Love is in the air in this royally good rom-com, perfect for anyone who likes relatable heroines with great hair, hot and aloof book boyfriends with great hats, near misses, almost kissies, and a corgi or two. This book was good. It was above a 3-star, I'm giving it a 4-star for rounding purposes. I'm rounding up to a 4-star. It's not a 5-star. It's a little bit on the unrelatable side for me. So it has an author's note. The Tower of London has seen many residents over its millennium, but it's frequently the unwilling guests that we remember. Most people don't realize that beyond the moat and the fortress walls, portcullises, there's a village, and there always has been. Even now, in 2022, a whole community of people hang out their washing in places that royalty once walked, park their cars on top of the gone-by sites of executions, walk their dogs through a moat now far more welcoming. The author actually lived in the Tower of London, and so she draws heavily from her experience. And one of the cool things about this book, anytime a book does this, I love it, is we get a map of the Tower of London, and that's really cool. This book had me... I bought into the suspension of I suspended my disbelief successfully. But the main character felt at times a little too self-insert. The author's note essentially says that the main character is a self-insert. She's redheaded, just like the author. She lives in the Tower of London, just like the author. And the phrase is, good writers write what they know. That's not supposed to be that if you're redheaded, you only write redheaded characters who live in the same place you live and marry someone of the same standing that you... it's not supposed to be a semi-autobiographical. It's supposed to be, I know about romance, so I'm going to write romance. I know about how people interact with each other, so I'm going to write that. I know about history, so I'm going to write Outlander. All these things. What are your special interests? Use that. And it was cute. It was funny. It didn't... At no point, though, did I close the book and just savor the moment of what I had read. And that's something that I love about reading, is that moment where you almost forget that you're reading. You see it so vividly in your mind, and you forget that you're reading a book, and then you have to turn the page, and the spell is broken for a second. But then you remember you get to keep reading. And that didn't happen with this book. It just didn't happen for me. And that's disappointing, but I know not every book can be spectacular. But it just felt... Everything about it felt just a little bit on the lazy side. There were a couple of places where there was telling instead of showing. There were a couple of places where it was clearly filler to hit a word count. It felt like filler. Maggie works at the ticketing booth, and so she deals with a lot of tourists coming in. And some of the interactions just felt like funny stories that the author likes to drag out about having lived in the Tower of London that she just put in the book for no apparent reason, because she doesn't tell people later on about them. They're not, well, this lady's ranting about, I'm here to see the king. Oh, well, do you have an, and like the royal guard comes up and like, do you have an appointment? Like, there's no funny to it. Like, it's missing in some places where it would be great for comedy, or like a deadpan delivery that makes you like the character, or that gives you an interest in the character or their development or their growth or something. It's just kind of there. And it feels like filler. And I don't like filler in my books. To me, filler is something that you're writing when you forget, when you're having writer's block, so you write filler and then you edit it out. But it felt like it didn't get edited out. I don't know. It's 4 stars. Really, it's 3.5 stars, but I don't do half stars. So 4 it is. This has a 3.56 on Goodreads, and I agree with that. So have you read Falling Hard for the Royal Guard? Do you like rom-coms? Have you been disappointed by one lately that you were so excited for? And like, this one has been sitting on my to-be-read shelf since it came out. Like, I bought it the weekend it came out in April of 2023, and it's been sitting on my shelf, and I finally got around to reading it, and I was disappointed. Like, it wasn't that I had built it up in my brain. I didn't have the highest expectations, and I was still let down. So let me know what you're reading down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.